It is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, October 8th. I am going to just do a little organization. Amazon is currently having Prime Day. I'm going to put a link in my description box on, well, I'm not going to put it. There's a link there's a link in the description box of my most recent video, I assume, or some of my most recent videos. If you have been thinking about signing up for Prime, please use my link. I will make a small commission and you will get access to Prime Day deals. If you let me see, can I put it in here? No. Can I make a comment? No. If you are interested in signing up for Prime, go to one of my most recent videos and you'll see my link for my Prime, my account, my influencer account. I have a influencer/associate account on Amazon. That would be great if you signed up. If you're watching this as a playback, I'll add it as a comment or maybe like a pinned comment when the live is over, but I don't think I can put a comment in here. I don't know how to do that. Anyways, we're here for a little bookish time, a little earlier than I usually go live, and that's just because today is Wednesday. My daughter's school day ends earlier today, so I have to go pick her up really early. So I wanted to do this before I go do that, because after I pick up my daughter, I have a few meetings this afternoon and I won't be able to do a live later. So I thought I'd come on and say hello. Good morning, Rumi24 Runwright Reads Girly, also known as Sophia. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Thank you for joining, and I absolutely just love your profile name. So here are a couple of things that we're going to be doing today. So it's about 11:15. I'm in New York City. We're on daylight saving time. Here in New York City, we generally have Eastern Standard Time. So it is 11:15 a.m. I will be on here until midday, 45 minutes. I'm going to read, and I'll tell you a little bit of what I've been reading. And I'll give you a little update. So for those of you who were here last week, I talked about a few things. One of which, yikes. One of the things I talked about last week was that I'd gotten locked out of my Yahoo email because Yahoo put in place these limits, and you can now store up to 20 gigs of content in your email inbox. Anything over that, you either need to delete to get below that threshold, or you will have to start paying for additional storage. And they gave some notice, they gave some timelines, and they gave a couple of extensions. And then one day, maybe 2 weeks ago, they put it in place. They enforced their limits. So if you were over the limit, your account got locked. You could still see emails that you had before, up to whatever storage limit you were at. You could still see the emails that were in your inbox. You just couldn't receive anything new. You couldn't send anything. So Yahoo gave us 20 gigs of storage, and I was at about 24 gigs when I started actively trying to get below the threshold. Good morning, my cozy little library is here. Thank you so much for joining. So we're just chatting about the Yahoo the Yahoo debacle. So when I got the notice that I would need to clean up my storage or start when that I'd need to clean up my inbox or start paying for storage, I was at about 24 or maybe higher. I'm not sure, but I remember distinctly the 24.4 gigabytes that I was at. And so I said, I don't want to start paying $1.99 every month forever for emails that I'm not really needing. So my plan was to delete emails to get below that threshold. And once I started decluttering my inbox, I realized just how much stuff was in there that was kind of clogging up my emails. It was just kind of, number one, it made it slow to access. It made it difficult to find things just because there were so many emails that were, around the things that I wanted to save. So it was a good thing that I started trying to clean up the inbox. It was a good thing. It was also a tedious thing. And in my mind, I never looked this up, but when they said that you wouldn't be able to receive new mail, in my mind, I thought that meant the mail would be like it would come, but it would be in this place where you couldn't access it. Like it would be held in some kind of holding place. And that once I got below the 20 gig threshold, that then those emails would start coming in, those emails that I had missed. And there was nothing to suggest that. Like I said, I never really looked it up to see what would happen. That was just my thought, that even if it took a few days, once I got below the threshold, that the emails that didn't come to me would start flooding in. So I have good news and I have bad news with that. The good news is that I got below the threshold. I actually I downloaded the Yahoo app on my phone, which I hadn't used before. I was just using the generic Apple Mail app, which allows you to check all your inboxes in one place. But I actually downloaded the Yahoo Mail app so that I would just see Yahoo emails. I mean, I could do that on the regular mail app too, but this also gave me the opportunity to see what my storage was like while I was deleting. And so the good news is that I finally got below the threshold. Once I downloaded that app and I was able to see it in one place, I just kept deleting and deleting and deleting. I got to below 19 point something, which was great. So then I started I sent myself an email because, it takes a little while for things to register. So I sent myself an email to my Yahoo inbox from my Gmail just to check it. And I saw that it came in. And I was like, where are the other emails that I missed? Because it had been about 5 days or so, longer. So almost a week. It had been about a week of not receiving emails through my Yahoo inbox. And I was like, where are those mails? Where are those emails? Why aren't they coming? I'm expecting like a flood because I said what I need to do is to just kind of stay on top of it so that when those emails that I missed for the past week, when those start coming in, I don't want to go back above the threshold. I didn't see them come in. I waited overnight. I kept refreshing my inbox. I'm seeing new emails come in, but I'm not seeing the old ones. So then I did a little search. You know how when you type in a search now in Google, it gives you an AI generated possible answer. And the response was that those emails that were not delivered because my storage was full were like bounced back to the sender as undeliverable because of storage limits. And I was like, no, no. So if I missed an email, a business email, if I missed an email during that time, I won't know that I missed it. Job applications that I'm waiting to get responses from, what do? Do I email the companies that I'm waiting to hear back from? Do I email them and say, I know it's been a few weeks since we talked, but just in case you sent me an email last week, could you send it again? How do I know? How do I know who I missed an email from? I'm now going to be depending on those people who sent me emails and got a notice that the mail was undelivered, that they will try to send it again. Otherwise, how do I know that I missed? I said, this is why you shouldn't be cheap. Because I did all of this to save $1.99. I may have lost an opportunity. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what I missed. I may have lost an opportunity because I'm trying to save $2. So I'm just trying not to think about it. I'm reminding myself that my inbox is now clear. If anything needs to come in, it can come in. I just I can't be sad anymore. I can't be worried anymore. I'm just so that's that. That's my little update with regards to Yahoo. I was trying to be cheap, trying to save $1.99. Who knows what I missed? If you sent me an email in the last week and a half, if you didn't hear from me, please send it again. Whoa. Okay. Thank you so much for wanting to help. Yeah, I don't know what to say either. So I'm just, yeah. My cozy little library. Yeah, it is. A lot of things are happening. I have a couple of meetings today that I need to prepare for. One of them is a program for my church group. I need to prepare a presentation, and I need to be normal. I need to be normal. The people in the group, they know what's been going on with me, so I don't think they have like expectations, but I'm trying to be normal. I'm trying to be normal. So I will talk. That's how normal looks. This is one of the books that I am reading, preparing for my presentation later. This is The Desire of Ages, God's Greatest Gift. This is a compilation of writings from one person named Ellen White. And her estate has compiled a lot of books that are attributed to her, even though she didn't necessarily write these books while she was alive. She did a lot of writing, a lot of articles, a lot of statements, a lot of essay kind of writing, and then we have books that are compiled from those writings. And so this is one of the books that I'm going to be reading later on. I was reading it earlier, but I'm going to put that one aside because I wanted to tell you a little bit more about this that I've been reading. Completely different vein. So I'm reading Full Bloom by Francesca Saratella, and this was a gift from the publishers, Penguin Random House, from their Ballantine imprint. Is it? Ballantine Books. And there is, yikes. This book is very intriguing in a lot of ways. If you like books that are a little bit not quite magical, but they're a little bit more whimsical than life tends to be sometimes, then I think you'll like this book. It is, I want to say that it's going to be a romance, but we're not at any romantic part yet. So last night I read some pages because I don't sleep very well at night, and I got up to page 122. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit more about the book because I was reading it yesterday and I wanted to just kind of continue with that. There are a few thoughts that I have about the book. So okay. Thank you, Rumi, for the update. I'll be here for a little while. I'm just gonna chat for a couple of minutes and then we're gonna do a reading sprint because the book focuses on characters. It focuses on the characters that we're meeting, and we get to learn a little bit more about them whenever we see them. And then it kind of moves on from that character to someone else. So it's really interesting looking at characters through the eyes of this author. So in case you didn't watch this yesterday, you haven't heard about this book, Full Bloom follows this 35-year-old woman named Iris. She is a Caucasian woman living in New York City. She is still reeling from a recent breakup. She and her boyfriend, Ben, were together for some time. They had gotten pretty serious. They were living together. They were expecting to become engaged, and then they didn't. And now that they've broken up, Iris, did I say Iris? Iris. Yeah, Iris. Iris Sunnygren, or Sunnygren. Iris is figuring out, she's trying to figure out what's next for her. She's still in contact with her ex-boyfriend, so she sees him, you know, appear to be happy, appear to be moving on. And she's making comparisons with him because she doesn't feel like she's doing a good enough job of moving on to the next phase of her life. We see her, she has a very strong background, but we see her in places like dimming her light. She's a professional. She has a master's degree in architecture. She seems to be poised to be very successful in her life, in her career, but she hasn't been advocating for herself. She seems, based on the job that she has, it even seems like maybe she's underemployed for her qualifications. And even within her work group, she has allowed herself to dim in the presence of the men that she works with. A lot of them seem to be younger, a lot of them seem to be less qualified, but she has allowed herself to be dim. dim. Dim is the word I'm using. And I'm using dim specifically because she is working as a lighting specialist, and she's supposed to be the person who's bringing the light or helping companies see how to use light to their best advantage, but she's not doing it in her own life. And it's interesting that we focus on light because in the book we're also focusing on another very important sense, which is smells, scents, aromas. And Iris has a neighbor who's an older French woman who she has been interacting with for some time. And then we get to a point in the book where we really dive into the personality of this older woman, this French woman, and we learn that she is a nose. That's what they call her. She, I don't know how you exactly describe her job, but she's the one who would be responsible for putting together different elements, whether they're florals or herbs or whatever. She'd be the one who would be responsible for putting them together to create a specific perfume or a specific scent. And so she puts together a scent for Iris, and it starts to give her, it's not like it gives her magical powers, but it gives her confidence. And the smell, the scent, the fragrance, when she wears it, it has an appeal to other people. And so she's able to do things that she wouldn't normally do. Not necessarily, again, because the fragrance gives her powers, but because people react to the scent, people react to the fragrance, and she's able to use their response, harness her own confidence, and have experiences that she wouldn't normally have had if she wasn't wearing this fragrance. So it's very interesting to see how, like, what kinds of situations she's in, or that she puts herself in, and how she behaves differently from before she had this fragrance at her disposal. And that's really interesting to me, to just kind of see, again, not that she has magic, but that she feels different. And so, you always hear people say it's about how you feel. You could change your situation if you could just change your mindset, change how you expect things to happen, and you get different reactions from other people. So that's a really interesting experience to be exploring along with this main character. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I like the older French woman because the author has given her a lot of face time in the section of the book that I just read. And I love a book with an older woman character. I love a book with an older woman character. Yeah. So the section that I just finished was the end of a part. And so I'm about to start a new part. And so the book has these section breaks where we're learning about what makes perfumes or fragrances different. So this one is entitled Heart Notes. And it says heart notes comprise the main character of the perfume and the primary expression of the scent once it has settled on the skin. In the center of the olfactory pyramid, heart notes give the fragrance its identity and structure, expressing its true nature and aiding in the transition from head to base notes. Frequently includes full-bodied florals, ripe fruits, and spices. So those are heart notes. So I'm going to read. I'm going to set a timer and we're going to read for about 20 minutes. That will put us to 11:56. Then we have about 4 minutes to wrap up, and at 12 o'clock I have to go. So I am going to set a timer for 20 minutes. Let me know if you are reading along with me, what you are reading, and I will tell you if I've read it or if I know. Rumi 24 Runwright Reads Girly is back. All right. We are going to read for 20 minutes. 20 minutes starts now, and we will end at 11:57 my time. All right, start reading. Let me know in the comments what you're reading. It's my book. So we have about 9 minutes left on the reading spread. Just about 2 more minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. The 20 minutes have gone. I got to page 162, which I'm happy about. I think I was at about page, I was exactly here. So I was at page 124, 125. So really good pace. I'm happy with that. The book reads a little faster now that I'm further in. So Iris is dating, she's dating someone. She met a man. His name's, I don't want to tell you his name. His name's not mentioned in the synopsis. So there are a few men that are discussed, and I don't want to tell you which one she's dating. And he seems to be really good with her, good for her. So Iris had a very traumatic period in her childhood. When she was about 11, there was a house fire that she and her parents were caught in, and she survived and her parents didn't. And so, you know, she has that trauma. And then there's a couple of characters in the book that have a similar experience with a different outcome, but a similar experience of being trapped in a building that is having a crisis. So it's interesting seeing how Iris relates to the characters who are having like that similarity. Aside from that, the book, like I said, is really well written. I think the author does a really good job of communicating ideas and senses an awareness of just people. Like, it's a really insightful discussion of how people are. Conversations, the dialogue, they feel authentic and very engaging. But there's also a lot of trauma. There are a lot of really difficult things that are happening to these characters, and it's kind of punchy. So if you like that, you like this. The one thing that I would probably change if I was the author, and I'm not, because it is a sensual book, there are some sensual experiences that may feel a little bit too much. Like, I'm just about halfway, a little less than halfway, because I'm at page 162 and the book is just under 400 pages. There are quite a lot of scenes of personal, very personal interactions. How do I say that? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? A lot of male, female, and even same gender. There are a lot of relations happening in the book. So I would change that. I would probably erase. I would probably take out a few of those. I take out a few of those because I think the book would be better if you didn't have some of those things, like so many of them. But aside from that, I like the book. Rumi read only 5 pages. She's a slow reader. She's on page 205 in City of Ghosts, which is a nice book, she says. I haven't yet read it, but I may have to pick it up soon. Reading 5 pages doesn't make you a slow reader. It makes you, I mean, not that being a slow reader is a negative thing. Sometimes, especially when I am really enjoying a book, I read slowly, read really slowly, because I'll read a sentence and then I'll reread it. You know, and sometimes when I'm really distracted, even though I'm reading and my eyes are following the pages, following the words and sentences on the page, I feel like I haven't really absorbed what I've read, and I will have to reread sentences and paragraphs multiple times. So reading slowly is not a bad thing. Okay, I have to go. I really enjoyed spending time with you today. I will try to come on maybe around the same time tomorrow, maybe a little bit later. So instead of starting at 11-ish, maybe we'll start at 12-ish. Tomorrow is Thursday. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If I get a chance to finish this tonight, then I'll tell you about it tomorrow. If I don't finish it tonight, I probably won't read it in the sprint tomorrow, just because I think I'm past the point now where I can tell you, or I'm at the point where I can't tell you too much more of what is happening as I'm reading, because I don't want to spoil the rest of the book for you. So if I finish the book, then I'll give you a little bit more of a review in tomorrow's live. If I haven't finished the book, when I come on live, I'll read something else so I can give you the kind of play-by-play that I've been giving you thus far with this. So yeah, that was Full Bloom by Francesca Ciritella. I'm really liking how we're doing these lives, where we get a chance to read and talk about what I'm reading, and give you an opportunity to also say a little something about what you're reading. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your afternoon or night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope you find a good book to read if you're going to be reading later, and look forward to chatting with you and seeing you back on here tomorrow, maybe around this time, 24 hours from now. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like the video, like the live, so that it gets recommended to other people, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.